All right, it is May 5th, 2026. Seems like about each year I do one of these videos and I start off the year with a lot of optimism that I might post more and then never get around to it. So I figure I'll just do a single longer form video to update you where things are at. And if I get to posting more, great. And if not, there's at least something on the internet for anyone that's following us to watch, or I don't know, keep up with us, I guess. So yeah, May 5th. And normally by this time we'd be looking at planting or be into planting already. A lot of our neighbors have been going hard for a few weeks. So far we've kept everything in the bag. We do have 180 acres of canning peas that were planted, but peas can take the cold. I'm not too worried about that. But as far as corn and beans go, we're waiting for a little bit warmer weather. Actually, we're waiting for this cold snap to get through just to kind of see where the weather was at. Ideally, when we plant stuff in the ground, being organic, we want it to come out of the ground, you know, as quickly as possible. But so far it's stayed dry. A lot of the rain that they were forecasting has either kind of dried up or not been as much as what we thought. So that was one of the other concerns, that we put it in the ground cold and then it gets wet and then it rots and the weeds come, and that's just not a good situation on the organic side. So but at the end of this week, it looks like we might be getting past some of the coldest weather here. So by the end of this week, we're hoping to get some of the corn and I should say our one non-organic cornfield in the ground by the end of this week. And then we might also go at it and try to knock out a good chunk of organic soybeans. We feel like we're able to do the weed control on that a little bit better if it's slower out of the ground than the corn, just for the tools and some of the stuff that we've got going on. So that's kind of what we're thinking at the moment, that by the end of this week we'll knock out some corn and beans. Wanted to share a couple other updates for you this year. One of the projects that we're working on here, I'll turn the camera around here. We've got some sheep. In our little neck of the woods, there are several community solar projects. So little solar farms that are 40 acres or less going in. There's like 4 or 5 of them within, I'd say within like 10 miles or so. So a lot real close. So my brothers and I decided that, you know, you can't control what the landowner does with their ground. And it's unfortunate that most of the solar farms that are going in this area are not farmers putting them in. They're actually the children of the farms. They've inherited the farms. Their parents were farmers. Actually, a lot of it's all kind of one family that owned a lot of ground, but the kids did not want to come back and farm. They're lawyers and doctors. They inherited this farm ground. They looked at their investment. They said, hey, you know, I can get paid a whole lot more for solar than I can rent it to the local farmer neighbor. So they went solar with it. None of them, there's one that lives in the community, but basically everyone that is part of this lives, you know, in the big cities. They're lawyers, doctors, and other stuff. So anyway, that's a whole nother tangent about capitalism and why community economics is what I'm going to call it. Community economics is better than capitalism, but that's a whole nother rambling thing. So anyway, my brothers and I saw this as an opportunity. How can we keep this land tied to agriculture in some way? So we got certified to be solar grazers, and we bought a bunch of sheep here, and there's the sheep. They're just hanging out. We bought some sheep. We got about 20 lambs out there now. And we're going to we've got certified to graze under these solar farms. So we'll try to graze some of these closer ones that are not too far away from us. Another business opportunity, an ability to get something agronomic out of the ground. Right now we've got them following there's the dairy over there, the dairy cows. We're going to try to rotate them behind the dairy. And for a little bit of pasture health as well, getting some different ruminants on the ground. And see how that goes. So that's the one project going on, or that we have coming up. Just a couple other things. I'll just show you while I'm standing here by it. Let me turn it around again. All right, so this is one of our new tools that we got this year. This is a B&H cultivator. We've had issues in the past with, we've got a Glencoe 3-shank cultivator that we use, and parts are just getting hard to find for it. I got in a little bit of an accident last year, and I had to have parts fabricated, and then we were down a cultivator for way too long. So we invested in a B&H. Ideally, I probably would have gone Hinneker. I think Hinneker has some advantages, I wouldn't say they have some advantages. Hinneker has a lot of fun stuff in their latest model, but this B&H was the right price. We've got the cutaway discs here. We've got some tunnel shields. We've got single sweeps. There's somebody else that we know in the area that ran a B&H and did pretty well with it. So we're going to try that out for this year and see how it goes. We've also picked up We also picked up a 60-foot rotary hoe, and maybe if I decide I'm going to do the editing time to splice the videos together, I'll show you a little bit rotary hoeing some of our peas that we put in, or that were put in for us. The canning company planted them with our 60-foot rotary hoe, and that'll hopefully really help with our weed control. Our early season weed control has been a big bottleneck for us, just getting over acres, and so this will hopefully relieve some of that. All right, here we are. I was able to remember to turn the video on. We are in the 4440 quad range, and we're trying to do some rotary hoeing. So we got the 60-foot rotary hoe in this pea field. This field was planted about 10 days ago or so. These are almost ready to break through. Maybe we'll stop here and take a look, and I'll show you a little bit about this rotary hoe. This is our first field, first time really running it. Well, second time, but yeah, we hit first year with it for sure. All right, so here's what we got. We got the 44 there. Yeah, this is our, like I said, this is our first year with this rotary hoe. This is a Yetter. There's another company that came out with one just a couple weeks after we had put our order in for this one, and that one actually is quite a bit more expensive than this one, but it's supposed to be more superior in a couple different ways. You can see here, you know, we got a solid, it's not quite a 30-foot straight bar, but there's no flex in that wing. This field here does happen to be pretty flat. This is our largest field and probably one of our flattest fields. We've got fields everywhere from 9 acres up to this one, which is 180, and some hills too. So we'll see how this works. We do have our 30-foot hoe still that we can try to use for some of the smaller fields, and if it's really hilly. This is kind of an awkward hoe in many ways. These wings actually fold backwards for transport, which is a little different, but it actually trails pretty well going down the road. And yeah, the 4440 can handle it so far. As far as I mean, it hasn't overheated or anything. But yeah, we got our peas. I happen to be in a little bit of a wet spot in the field, so it's a little cloddy. But you can see our peas are, that's actually a weed, that's not peas. Yeah, this here is a weed, but this is a pea coming through. That's pretty shallow. So the canning company came in, and there's some more peas. They planted these. They've got 2 40-foot drills. They plant them, they harvest them. We just do weed control and fertilizer and stuff. But I wonder what this, there's another weed there. So we got some weeds here. Hopefully that isn't too big of a deal. But you can see the peas are going to be popping through pretty shortly. These, you know, they're putting down 3 bushels to the acre. So obviously you're going to have some seeds that are close to the surface. Most of these are down 2-3 inches. But yeah, they're just starting to pop through. So are the weeds. We're probably a little bit, we were maybe slightly behind on the weed control on this, but hopefully the peas will get a good start here. Maybe we'll have to tine weed or something, but yeah, that's the part of the task for today. And it's been an interesting day. My brother, yesterday, he was doing some tillage, getting ready for us to plant. I'm gonna pull a weed here as I see it. And he was in our Massey 8737, and it was having some issues. The DEF was leaking out of it, and he had some other issue going on too. So he parked it, waiting for the tech to come, and then today we switched over. We took our planter tractor off the planter. I'm pulling weeds here as we're going. He took the planter tractor off the planter and started to do tillage with that, and then he broke the fan belt, and of course that made the tractor pretty unhappy too. So we're having great luck today. I don't know if we're gonna get as far as what I thought we would when I started the day, but that's how farming goes. The unexpected happens. So that's the update for right now. We'll see what else happens. Well, you're getting in on more of this day than what I thought. Day updates. Still the same day from when we started here. Came over and got the seed tender out. We have to use the tractor to do it because that spout doesn't quite fit under that roof. So you got to use the loader to push down on that to get that to go down, so you can get through there. Someday, I don't know, maybe if any of you have experience doing this, you can tell me if the expense is worth it or not. I mean, there's some room in here. There'd be even more room if we took this out. Someday, I don't think it'd be that difficult to take this beam out here and raise it up about a foot or two, and you can go all the way across there, and then, you know, why not just make a big load-bearing beam across there and come down there, and then you could get rid of this, make a lot wider door, because this is a pretty narrow door there. And then you could have you could take out that floor, have a bunch more space. I don't know if for this beam here, if you'd have to come across and do another beam over to that wall and down, and like a giant H over to this side. I don't know. It's a beautiful old barn. We just don't really, you know, we don't put hay in here or anything. And yeah, we can fit a little bit of equipment, but not a lot. It'd be nice if we could fit something that's wider than, I mean, you can hardly fit the duals of a tractor in here. You do it, but there's about 4 to 6 inches on either side. We can just barely fit our grain cart in here, which just barely is about the size of the duals on the tractor. And that's just not, you're not going to fit a lot in there. So I don't know, maybe someday I don't know if it's worth the expense of trying to do all that or not. While we're over here though, since this channel started as a cover crop channel, we're over at one of our farms here. I guess we'll do a little cover crop update on this rye. Let's walk out there and we'll see what we got. Okay, so this rye here was seeded beginning of November, like November 4th or something like that. Just a cover crop mix, or not a mix, but just cover crop rye put out here. You can see, I don't know, not quite knee high. Kind of what we're looking at. So that's the growth. It didn't grow at all in the fall, of course, because it was so dry, but or barely grew. And then spring came, we got some rain, warmed up, and we got knee-high rye. This is probably like, can't remember if we're doing 40 or 60 pounds to the acre. We seeded it with, we borrowed a turbo till with a seeder on there, and that worked pretty well. It covered a lot of ground pretty quick. So that's some cover crop rye. We're gonna haul some manure on here probably a little bit later in the spring, empty the manure pit, and then we'll go to beans on this one. Now it's kind of fun. On the other side here, we've got some hybrid rye. We'll go over there and take a look at that. That's a different beast. All right, so this is the hybrid rye field. We've been growing hybrid rye for probably 5 or 6 years, and we do it mostly for cattle feed. This stuff will yield better than wheat, especially on marginal ground for us. And you can see it's already starting to head out, which is ahead of our wheat. Actually, we usually end up harvesting it after our wheat, but it's got some, it's maturing along pretty well. You know, you got to plant it a little bit earlier, ideally, but it makes up for it on yield. This stuff, let me see if I can pull some out here. It has stout stems. I mean, it's just you can't tell. It's got meaty stems on there. Lots of straw. It yields for us, you know, 130 bushels the acre. Great cattle feed. It doesn't have, if you feed regular rye to cattle, well, you can feed regular rye. It's gonna, for us, regular rye is only gonna yield, you know, 40 bushels, and that's just not worth it. But this stuff will yield really good. It feeds well to the cattle. I've heard you can feed it to pigs and they do really good, and you can feed it to chickens, which you can't feed as regular rye as much because of some enzyme or protein that it's got. Our stand's a little bit wavy there, or not stand, but our, you know, maturity height. We spread some dry litter on this, and you got a little bit of pockets of unevenness there, but overall the field's looking pretty decent. This is only like a 20-acre field or so. So that'll be coming up here before we know it. Spring's on the horizon, and usually once we get past planting, then wheat harvest comes pretty soon after. So more going on with the day. All right, last update of the day. Today we got a new tractor that came in, or I should say my dad got a new tractor. This is for the dairy side of things, 5120M. It's got around 260 hours, so it's new to us, but not brand new. This came to replace this tractor over here. This is a 5115M. This tractor, so this new one obviously has DEF. This one here is pre-DEF. It's got the afterburner on it, and it's got knocking on 9,700 hours, I think. So it has been well used, and you can see we got oil leaks on it, and it's just seen a life. And so this new one is going to be replacing it. We'll keep this one around to use here and there, but it's easy to dump a lot of money into these tractors, and right now I think Deere would only give us like 20,000, if that, on trade-in for this, which, you know, makes sense. It's old. It is going to need some work. Obviously, it's dirty because it's been in the cow lot loading manure here the last couple days. But we need something reliable, so we've got something that'll replace it, and we can start putting hours on that one now and give this one a little bit of a break. So that's a bit of an update, what we've been working on today, and a little bit of the update for what's coming this spring. And we'll see if I keep these videos up or if you just get one a spring. I like putting shorts out. They're pretty easy just to do a couple 10-second, 30-second clip. At every once in a while I might splice in some of these longer form videos just as an update for what's going on with the cover crops and the crops and the organic side of things. So that's all we got. Hope you guys have a good day.